Survival. So in this documentary, you're really seeing the point of view of these climbers and the passion behind what they do. I did really enjoy the cinematography. Like some of the shots were so in the action, which really made you feel like you were climbing right beside them. And some of the choices of the angles, whether it was like from the feet up, watching them climb up in their ascent, it just really made you feel like you were in the motion of the action. So you're feeling the things that they are really feeling. It really allowed us to be like feeling like we're at one with the actions as viewers.
Survival. I enjoyed this. I thought that this is such an interesting concept and an interesting experience to go through because obviously you have to have a certain level of fitness, physical fitness, to even attempt a trip like this. But then beyond that, there's a level of mental fitness that I don't necessarily think people would think about when they're signing up for it, but it definitely plays a huge factor once you're actually on the trip, and how incredibly bonding it would be with the basic strangers that you go on this trip. You're going through this extreme, like, very physical challenge and journey together. And that's obviously going to bond you in ways that you don't expect. And you're gonna learn things about yourself that you maybe never would have learned otherwise. Because when you put yourself into these extreme situations, you will learn things about yourself that you maybe wouldn't have learned if you hadn't been in that situation in the first place. And I think that that kind of experience leaves a mark on people. It's not necessarily even just about what you learn about yourself, your bonded experiences with other people, but I think the experience altogether itself leaves its mark. I think it maybe not necessarily 100% changes you, but I feel like it leaves an impact because it is taking you so far out of your normal everyday life, and it's putting you in a not do or die situation, but it is putting you in a very physical, very, you know, not stressful, but you have to be careful. Like you're not in an easy situation to get yourself out of anything. If you do hurt yourself or something does go wrong, you don't have an immediate answer to anything. And like I said, taking yourself so far out of your normal everyday life, so far out into where everything you see, civilization hasn't really touched. You don't see cars, you don't hear cars, you don't see roads, like none of that stuff. You're literally that far out that I feel like a lot of everyday distractions or things that take up a lot of our mental capacity or our mental space that we don't even think about on a day-to-day basis, but or we don't, consciously think about. But I feel like if you spend enough time in somewhere that isolated, a lot of that stuff starts to fall away, and that's when you start to discover things about yourself, and that's when you start to really bond with the people that are around you because you don't have these kind of distractions from your normal life. And so I thought this was really, really interesting. I think that the experience itself would be very intense, but I thought it was really interesting to learn about.
Well, this was something else. As it's presented in a sort of this documentary format, I think it was presented really well. We meet these fellows. We kind of get into their heads a little bit and see what's motivating to do this. It's a wild undertaking. It's really uh, takes someone with a certain mindset, and I think that's what's being revealed here. And the filmmakers did a great job of revealing that to us, letting us into that world, and taking us on this sort of survival journey with these guys. It was really quite an interesting watch.
This film, Survival, where they go on this very physically demanding trip, is really inspiring. It's filmed in documentary style, and the main guy brings us through his personal journey and details where he had the most struggles and all that he gained from this trip, and like mentally and physically. And what really stuck with me is when he would stop on the mountain and tell himself he can do it and continue to push forward, and he did. Um, and then when they shot the deer and they have to carry it back down is so crazy to me because it seems like a hard journey to even just get to that point. The scenery they show is so beautiful, and we can very clearly see why the whole trip was so worth it.